Well, good morning, everyone. So it's the 12th of August, and if I get it right, it's Tuesday today. Like sometimes, yeah, trying to keep up with everything, and there's a lot going on, quite literally, not only with the MGR, but around the rest of the world. Every morning you wake up, it's crikey, what next? Anyway, it's all fun, beautiful in Fiji at Vuda here, um, and it's just a few minutes after 8 o'clock. So we've got some fun things to talk about with the tracker. So that's kind of cool. But this was the story of the moment. Anything interesting about this map? Oh, look at the date. Mini Globe Race 2029. I finally managed to finish the notice of race for the Mini Globe Race and also for the 2026 Transat. There's lots of reading in both of those if you're up for it. And anyway, so for now on the Mini Transat, not the Mini Transat, the Globe 580 Transat website. If you're doing it, you can go online on the website, download the notice of race. The entry form's been done. Rob's just putting it up shortly. We've got to send him that. And you'll be able to actually enter the Transat. And my suggestion is, if you're thinking about it, as long as you've got the required qualification with your amount of ocean miles, you have to have a certain number of ocean miles, and you have to either own a boat or be building a boat before you can enter. If you've got that and you're up for it, get your entry in soon. For the Transat, there is two classes. There's two-handed and single-handed. At the moment, there's only 12 places available for the solo Globe 580 Transat, and there are 8 places available for, I think that's right, 12 and 8. Maybe I changed it. I think that's right. For the two-handed division, and that will remain current until 1st of January, I think it is, next year. And then it's just up for grabs. If we don't have 20 entries by the 1st of January next year, then we forget about restricting the classes, and it's first in, best dress. So I don't know whether we'll get to 20 entrants. I think it'll be more like about 12, 15, but let's wait and see. And that's good news for everyone, because I know there's a lot of people planning that. The other one is with the 2029 Mini Globe Race. We are, that's on a roll. That'll be up within the next day or so. We've finished it only just last night, late at midnight or something. Got it over to Rob. It's got to go up. We've got to review it. There's a new map there, and we should have the entry forms and everything available certainly by the end of this week, once we've checked everything and so on. So I've just literally shown you the map, but it's not there yet, but it'll be up by the end of the week. So on the weekend, if you're planning to do the next Mini Globe Race, then you'll have an opportunity to sign on. So and there's lots of issues there, especially in relation to how that interfaces with the Transat. I mentioned it yesterday in December 28, because the Transat for the preceding the Mini Globe Race is set to start similar to it was last year in December the year before, and it's compulsory for certain people to do the Transat, and it's not compulsory for those overseas. There's a long story there, and you'll see the qualifier now for the Mini Transat has gone from 750 miles to 3,000 miles solo non-stop. So either way, you either do the Transat or you do a serious passage. It's not like it has been in the past, because it's very clear that people need to be well prepared before they set off from Antigua on what's going on, to give them the best chance. And there's no excuses now, because there's a big lead time. If anyone wanting to do the next Mini Globe, then it's there. The numbers are restricted to 16, I think it is, with 2 special invitations. But once again, there will be a lot of people talking about going, but who makes it to the start line? It's really challenging. I'll be very happy if we end up with 16 entrants in the 29, 16 or 18 entrants in the 29 Mini Globe Race. Anyway, enough of that. And I just realised I need a shave and a haircut. all the rest of it. But anyway, there you go. All right, so we've got some people lining up now who'll be happy to get the live tracker. So I'm going to go over to the tracker. Here we are here. So you've got the tracker, I've got the tracker, and there's some interesting stuff going on at the moment. Certainly, Renault is in anchored off Horn Island. Here's Horn Island. There's going to be a strong southeasterly wind, so it's a lee shore if you're over here on Thursday Island. So that's the general plan, and there is a ferry that goes from Horn Island across to Thursday Island, so they can go across, have a look, go to the pub, all that stuff, and do their customs, immigration, quarantine. And I got a message from Kerry. Kerry's still sailing, but he might have the currents there at the moment. We'll have a look at what's going on. But he actually stopped at one point he stopped at one point, and I'm not sure whether that was his final stop or whether so in other words, he's anchored over here and then somehow going to get down there, or whether he anchored and stopped for a few hours for the current and kept going. So that's still a developing story. I've got to check with him on that. He sent me a message, but it was early in the morning and I didn't quite get it. And then I just came on here and I said, he's still moving. So because I thought he might have, from the last position here, he might have been at the anchorage, but he looks as if he's either still going drifting or got a head current or something. He's only doing 1 knot. He did 126 miles in the last 24 hours, so that's pretty cool. Renault's anchored there. You would have seen the photo there. He's proof of finishing the leg. So he's pretty cool. Well done, Renault, once again on that stage of the race. So we'll come back up, go the other way. Well, over here you can see what the anchorage looks like, and there is a little wharf here, and there's a little shop here, bits and pieces there. This is the wharf here, but he's coming. You can see even on the Google Earth picture, there's other boats anchored in that spot, and he'll have to get from there over to this wharf and come ashore, and there's crocodiles and real adventure. Crocodile Dundee might be up there. Anyway, so that's and then Thursday Island's over the water here. So this is where customs and immigration and their officers are, but they've done all their pre-alerts. So everything is fine. Okay, coming back to the tracker. You can see there's Dan coming around the corner in a big rush. Let's have a... we won't go there yet. We'll close in on the rest of the fleet first. And then you see Pila. She's in the reef now, coming across. And I think, they're all doing a really good job, obviously. They've all managed to get, inside the reef, the first 4. And they've been navigating through the night. It's just on dawn for Pila now, but she's closed across the first lot in the dark on her GPS chart plotter. Hopefully she had a bit of moon still, but there was some clouds forecast there. And we've got another 3 neck and neck, all boring into Rain Island pass to come through, except for Eric. He's gone up the top here, and that's an interesting one because he thought it was about the same distance, but it's actually a little bit longer. By my calculation, it's about 100 miles more distance. And to give you an idea, when he took off, he was pretty much on a par with these guys. So I'll give you a quick, very rough destination. He's going to come up here. So there's 114 miles there. Then they got to come back down, and usually, if I remember correctly, it depends which way he goes. He can go on the inside of this one, or he can actually go around and come down the back, assuming he's coming into Thursday Island. So this is just a rough measure. So there's another 110 miles. So that's what's that? 220 miles. That's about right from the turn, roughly. So yeah, 220, 230. Okay, so these other guys have got around about, let's see, there's 50 and another 120, so 150. So it's about 70, 80 miles maybe, depending on a few issues up the top. If he's going to Darwin, it's not so bad because when he gets to the top, he won't come down here to Thursday Island. He will probably just start to angle the course out, so it may be about the same. So maybe he's going to Darwin. We'll see how that pans out. And the weather, it's going to be quite windy there now if the forecast was true yesterday. Just waiting for that. get their snail trails on. Yeah, Eric's got plenty of breeze. They all have. So that's all kind of cool. All right, looking good. So Gary's down the back, 5.4 knots and 128-mile days. Hard to go slow when the wind's like it is and the sea as well. They'd have 3-metre seas now. Enjoying the ride. 127 nautical miles for Ayrton and 5.4. He's got some current maybe. And Christian is 5.9, 134. I think Coconut must be going down to. Has he disappeared? Hang on. I think he was heading further down. No, he disappeared. Oh no, there he is. There. No, he's gone. Yep. Coconut's lost his tracker. Unless I missed him down here. Nope. Ooh, we missed you. Okay. Anyway, he's not in the race, but he's part of the game. So, right, so we've done Ayrton. Christian, 5.9, 124. He's been putting out some great videos. Haven't seen much from Ayrton lately. Nor Gary. And Jazz did. She's still living off the last video she did, which is great. 4.9 knots, 127-mile day. Looking good. Josh is still holding his position in front of her at 5 knots and 127-mile day. Exactly holding position. The big race here. Adam trying to get past Jacob, but not quite able to by the look of it. 133-mile day. And then Jacob, 123. Ooh, he's picked out 10 miles. So they're now neck and neck. 4.9 knots with 5.23 to go. And Adam, 5.32 to go. So it says he's 10 miles in front. Oh, sorry, if you're watching on your phone, you won't even be able to see this. But they're very close. Just to give you an idea how close, they might be looking at each other. No, not quite. And there's an anomaly. Yeah, okay, 2 miles. So they are neck and neck. There's something wrong with the distance to the finish there. Let's just check it again. So Jacob, 5.32. That's me. I'm very dyslexic. 5.32.8. And Jacob's 5.23.2. So he's 0.4 of a mile in front. So you're still winning, Jacob. That's pretty good. 2 miles apart, they'll be looking at each other. It's night, or it's dawn. So yeah, 2 miles apart, they can see their sails. Oh, there's Mark. There, jeepers. He's got in front. I didn't realise. Okay, so they're having a bit of fun, that's for sure. And they'll be in the reef very shortly. So they're only, let's see. Come on. Nope. Push this. Let's go for they're about 45 miles. So let's say that's 9 5's 45. So they're 8 or 9 hours. So they're going to get in before it gets dark. The sun will be in their eyes a bit, but it looks like so far the GPS chart plotters are proving satisfactory. They'll hold their breath and then carry on with safe navigation. So they're not far from the finish. It's after all this time, from Vuda here in Fiji, they're only days apart. So that's good fun. Everyone's been sailing pretty well. Okay, Eric is doing 5 knots, 107-mile day. It's good to see someone going north because we can compare it to others, and he'll have his stories coming back there and so on. So now I'm going to go back and look at the currents. Vicious stuff goes on up the top there, but we'll look at the ocean currents for now. Get rid of that. Come on here. There's the currents. Okay, so the sailors back here haven't got much going on at all. So we'll look at it in 2 parts, I think. I'll just quickly zip this through a bit. So, yeah, the sailors down there got nothing to do. I'm looking at the back end of the fleet. Now we'll go back to the beginning and we'll look at the front end, and I'll blow it up a bit bigger. Okay, so let's see what's going on. And there we go. I'm just going to push it through. You won't believe what's happening. So here's if you're looking at my cursor, here's the reef entry there, and you'll see what happens up here. Dan's got a bit of a head current at the moment, and I'm just pushing it through. It won't go every 3 hours. I hit that, now it will. So there's 3 hours later. You can see everything changes dramatically in 3 hours. So Pila's got a bit of a help there, and then bingo, she's got a big lift. Dan will be probably in by the next 6 hours. So he won't make much on that, but he would have got a boost coming across. 6 hours later, wacko! Look at that current up there. That's 2 knots, 3 knots, going around the top of Cape York, and Peeler will get a lift, but she may be up there by then. Anyway, it's just a case of you really need to check this at the time you want to see if there's an impact on a boat, because it's just so dramatic. It changes so quickly. There's every 3 hours. Now, just to give you an idea, remembering Eric's going to come around up the top up here in a few days, this is the sort of thing he'll be facing as well. So nothing, no current, and then slight head current, nothing, head current, pushing sideways, so no real benefits when you're coming down. If he's coming to Thursday Island, you won't get a huge boost, but it's still all over the place. And maybe he's going to Darwin. That's, that might be more of his thinking. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Okay, pretty radical stuff is the currents. And coming back to the wind, so we'll hit this, get back to today's wind, hit it here. Right, just scrolling that forward every 3 hours. Gonna hit that again. Oh, missed it. Got it. Okay, so good solid breeze. Oh, not as strong as we thought. It's all greens. That's encouraging. They'll like that. So there goes the first day, and they've got greens. It's still pretty green along the top, but it's filling in quickly. So by the 13, 14 day two, it's quite windy. Yeah. So it's pretty much as forecast. So today's not too bad, and it's going to pick up a bit more. What can I tell you now? We're doing currents. We'll just have a quick stab at the clouds. There's clouds there in 3 days' time. There's not much cloud at the moment. So that means they got the moon, which is, as we all know, a lot better. They've still got pretty much no clouds. Clouds coming in tomorrow with a bit of rain. So that's it. Okay. I think we're done on that. I'll come back here. There's me there. Okay, so all is looking good. I've got a couple of reports here from what do we got? What's up here? I've got Kerry sent me. This was Kerry's comment. Origami anchored Port Kennedy at blah 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 blah. Departure intended. I couldn't work that out. He's given me the 2 times, but anyway, we'll sort it later. A spicy sail through the Torres Strait and Flinders Channel. That was his comment there. And he was talking to, as he's approaching, he was talking to Border Force so that they knew what he was doing. So I'm still not sure whether he's done a short anchorage for an hour or so and then carried on, but that's cool. Tina, Peeler's manager, said she's within 100 miles, which is good. And I've got one here from Brenda, a couple actually. Light conditions on day 14 from Eric. Wind is expected to pick up. Just dropped. It said just past a big bulk carrier, he was stopped and not under command. He must have not under command lights. Captain, let me cross his bow. You'd want to make sure he stopped if the captain's going. Unless he stopped for Eric, I'm not sure. But anyway, all is well. And then yesterday's update was weather change overnight. Wind now up to 20 knots and 2 metre seas. I've decided to go north to the Great Northern Channel. 124 nautical miles in the last 24 hours, all well on Sunbear. So he's happy enough. And that's it. So, that's it. So not a lot going on there. And as I mentioned, if you've just tuned in, we have entries are now open for the Transat, 2026 Transat. And also we'll have entries open. The notice of race is done for the 29 Mini Globe race, and that'll be up and online within the next few days. So by the weekend, if you're going to do the MGR, you'll be able to sign up, and the same for the Transat. If you're thinking about the Transat, I'd do it straight away, because there might be more than we imagine. I'm not sure. Hey, Matthew, how strict are the controls on biological contamination in Australia? Incredibly strict, one of the strictest in the world. So if you're going to Darwin, even they most of the boats, they put them in a bath. They put them in a chemical bath as they go through the locks and so on. And at the government expense, they put a diver on the hull, to check that there's no growth on the hull, and if there is, you pay for the diver. If there's not, then you get it for free. So, and there's lots of paperwork before you arrive. You've got to be pre-approved before you arrive, and there's quarantine on all the food you have and on board, all that sort of stuff. Expensive, yeah. All the entries, I forget what the prices are coming into Australia, but it varied between, like here in Fijian dollars, which is 1.5 Australian dollars. It varied between about 700 Fijian dollars and about 1,200 Fijian dollars by the time you did the whole things, and if you paid overtime rates, if you came in on the weekend, things like that. And I think Australia is going to be, in fact, I haven't done it for so long, I forget. They did mention prices, probably going to be 600-700 Australian dollars or something, I'm not sure. And do they take up a lot of the participants' time? A lot of paperwork before you get there, and then, yes, you've got to go over to Thursday Island, which takes a while, and then you've got to go visit the office and stuff. So you can count on, generally, you allow or set up for a day. Whenever you arrive, it's going to take you a day to do customs, quarantine, immigration, go to get some food, blah, 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 all that entry stuff. You usually allocate a day, but it might only take a few hours or an hour or so of the actual visit to the office. But there's all the paperwork beforehand. It's quite massive. So, Elizabeth, Christine, rather. John, if you haven't mentioned it recently, remind everyone they can follow the individual entrance social media. Yeah, that's exactly right. We share some of the stuff, not all of the stuff from entrance, but if you want to follow a particular entrant or all of them, just join their social media pages and go from there. So, and remind all the entrants to share some of the important stuff coming on the MGR social media pages like YouTube and Facebook and stuff. So, because some of it would benefit from all the entrants sharing that, to their sites as well. Not everything, but there's some stuff that's relevant. Morning, g'day, Captain Joey, ahoy from Lauderdale. Instagram, Argo. Oh yeah, there's Argo's doing a lot of Instagram stuff. He's still remembering to do our landscape stuff on videos and everything, which is well. It's going to be mandatory. There's some really interesting reading in the notice of race for the next MGR. For instance, in the next MGR and in the Transat, if they've got Starlink on board, we'll have to same in the next MGR. It's mandatory. Anytime an entrant posts a video on social media, then they have to send that video file to us, the organizer. So we've got an instant copy. Normally at the end of a leg, we download all the videos from all the entrants, because we will produce documentaries or even a series or something later on. It won't be much on Renault because he doesn't say much or film much. Won't be much on some of the others, but it'll be fantastic because there's awesome stuff coming from Jacob and Jasmine and Christian and stuff, but anyway, yeah, and that's going to be part of the new deal. There's lots of little things that'll upgrade a bit on the requirements. So Kerry went to anchor at 4:39. Okay, so but yeah, so that's cool. Okay, on the tracker 4 hours ago. The interesting thing there is wherever they are when they do the final anchor, they can't move effectively. So, because I just looked at Kerry's quite a distance from the port. So now he's anchored there and declared his spot, he's going to have to go ashore and get to the customs and everything, because you can't anchor short and then come forward a bit further and anchor by the wharf and then get on the wharf and go. Right? Yes, you've got to go back to your original spot, but you can see it's the last anchorage before you go to customs immigration. So if you decide to anchor short, that's fine, because he's a bit further down the track than Renault, and you have to walk or hitch a ride or walk along the beach and dodge the crocodiles and stuff. So we watched that as well. So yeah, it's all kind of fun. Anyway, on the tracker 4 hours ago, Kerry was only 4 miles from port. Yeah, exactly. Has he anchored short of the finish line? Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I got to clarify, because he sent me an anchorage. Sent me a message at the time, and I couldn't work it out because where are we? Here it was. He said it was, and it's I haven't had a look yet. He said origami anchored Port Kennedy. I'm not sure where Port Kennedy is because I haven't had a look and I've never worried about it. It's possibly the anchorage at Horn Island. And I've got it on his GPS plotter, but he now can't move. He's got to get from there. He's got to get ashore, but it looks pretty right because I can see cable tracks and stuff like that. And I've got the time on his GPS and all that sort of stuff. But the other thing we do now, and I don't know whether we explained this, when an entrant comes in, they have to also report the time of, because Renault is the first one, he can't report the time of anyone in front of him. But Renault will have to report to us the finish time of Kerry, okay? And Kerry will have to report to us the finish time of the boat before. And so when Dan gets in, he will have to not only report his finish time, but he'll also have to report the finish time of Kerry, because all the entrants have to report the finish time of the boat before to us. And that way it's a double fail-safe check to make sure, and even between the entrants, they're actually required to check the finishing times of the others so that everyone's relaxed and cool bananas about when they leave at the end of their time to start the next section of the race. Because there were some mumblings and grumblings in the last leg of the race, and people thought, "Oh, I thought he didn't anchor until then," and said, "But it looks as if he left at that time." So now it's official. So it'll calm all that down. So it'll sort itself out. No one's trying to cheat or anything like that. It's just that it's defining that, making sure the definition is correct. So Brian, we will find out, and I don't think he has, but let's wait and see because it says he's moving at 1 knot at the moment, but. That can be a hangover from, because that was the Adcock position, so he might be anchored for hours, but because the next position pops up, it splits the average speed over the last 4 hours. So anyway, a bit of a long story, but we're all covered on that and it'll all sort itself out. Jonathan, Don, you're becoming a fashionista. Yeah, I did that on purpose. I always work with 2 pairs of glasses because one will surely break. They're only cheap ones. And then I went to grab my shirt, and I thought, no, let's go for the whole, fancy shirt for a change. It was a bit of a thing yesterday, so there you go. Anyway, a bit of a joke, but thanks for noticing that. Yeah. Anyway, the things you do when you're stuck inside the boat all day. Beautiful day in Fiji. We basically don't get out. Stuck on the bloody computer, and I'm still behind on everything. Anyway, but I'm having a good time, so don't worry. Michael, g'day, watching from Gloucester in the UK. Hope you and Jane are well. Yep, all good here. It was Rob's birthday today too. Rob Havel, our digital manager, doing the bits and pieces. He, we work together on all sorts of stuff, and he's mainly focused on GGR and OGR at the moment. He's got a lot of things going on there, and so that's all cool. But happy birthday, Rob. Okay. Nice shirt. Yeah, another one. Nice shirt. In the last 2 months, 2 people in my sailing club had boom strikes. Oh, yeah, bang. Luckily not as hard as Christian, but still bad. Yeah, he's got over it by the look of it. So they can always be bad. Plenty of people have died, all that sort of stuff. And we put helmets on the boat, but that was really for heavy weather. He just got an unlucky hit, but he might not have had it banged down. It's a story yet to be told because I always... Well, most of them got some sort of a preventer. I started using the donut figure of 8, and now a lot of them got that and so on, so they can strap the boom down. But things happen, and anyway, it's there. And we used to sell water boom brakes, and then we started making them and stuff. And I'd never sail on a big boat without it. Although, funny enough, we don't have one on this boat. But I had a different system that I copied off Jean-Luc Vandenheim, solo sailor from the GGR. Won the first edition in '73. Recently turned 80, still sailing strong. But anyway, although we lost our 82-year-old, we had there was going to be an 82-year-old entrant in the GGR. It was all top secret, very interesting, famous Frenchman. But he just pulled the pin. The sponsors didn't come through, so that was unfortunate. Anyway, that's it. I mentioned the GGR. We had one guy who pulled out of the GGR, and he just popped back in, which is great because he had a big job offer he couldn't refuse. And about 6 months ago, he pulled out. But he's now returning, so lots of things going on with the GGR, which is quite fun. Need to shave next to the wound for it to stick through. Yeah, I agree. There was a few things there, but on your own, you do the best you can. And when he taped up and looked like someone from bloody Mr. Simpson, with his big, I thought that was pretty cool. but that's what you do. G'day, Mads. From the notice of race, I understand electronic masthead wind instruments are not allowed. Nope, you can't have any wind instrument. Can you explain the reason behind that? Because you don't need them. Tracker didn't have them. Unnecessary expense. You're not going to sit there and stare at the bloody instruments all day. It's not that sort of sailing, and it's part of tradition. It's part of what used to be in the original Mini Transat. So you're not allowed to have wind instruments. You don't need them. It's nice to know if you're sailing downwind at night time and you're looking for driving angles, but that's not what it's about. You're not allowed to have an electronic log because there's no reason. You don't need it. You're going to, even now, because you're also allowed to have GPS, so you can get speed over the ground. So it's just one less hole in the hull, and it's just part of tradition, blah, blah, blah. So keep it simple. Nothing like a Windex up the top twirling around just to look up. Oh, that's where the wind is. So that's it. It's not meant to be technical and sophisticated. It's meant to be seat of your pants stuff, but we're mixing that with Mini Starling, or Starling Mini. So yeah, it's funny when you sail with it without wind instruments, you don't really need them. I've got one up here. It's got a broken twirligigger, and I keep saying I should fix it, but I've never fixed it because the birds will land on it, it'll only break again. And when you're used to sailing without them, you just don't need it. You don't need all that stuff. But there you go. That's a whole subject in itself, by the way, because now there's so many people on boats going cruising and they just buy everything, think they need everything, and you don't need a lot of it. But I'm not disputing it's nice to have a nice boat and have fridges and bits and pieces. It's all good. I digress. Oh, there's Rob. Okay, Rob. Yeah, hope you're feeling younger every day. In the thick of sailing, handing the head wound hasn't been a priority, still in command. In the thick of sailing, handling the head wound hasn't been the priority, still in command. Yep, maybe he's talking about Christian or whatever, but yeah, you got to watch your head. Love my Bactrine spray on open cuts, offshore and offshore. Yeah, there's some things. Neosporin ointment if you're a reef person walking around. Certain favourites. Okay, that's it. So thanks for that. Jeepers, another half hour. I'm out of here. We'll close out with this new deal here. Look at that. Ooh, thanks for the map, Rob. Looks good. Okay, see you later.